fucking life I lead, nigga. You know what time it is. West Side, Death Row, Dog Pound, everybody killer, bad boy killer, so death killer, Death Row, everybody killer. Fuck all y'all niggas, if it ain't West Side, nigga, it ain't pop. That's on my mama.
In this life I lead, FIFA currency, get high off weed, collect G's, make my enemies bleed. When you see me, nigga, holler my set and watch them ride. Outlaw motherfuckers till we die. In this life I lead, FIFA currency, get high off weed, collect G's, make my enemies bleed. When you see me, nigga, holler my set and watch them ride. Outlaw motherfuckers till we die. I want money in large amounts, my garage full of cars that bounce. Moving my tapes in major way, cause every dollar counts. Busters is jealous and half these niggas is punks. They running off at the mouth till I fill it up with my pump. They jump my automatic, keep them wary while you frontin' like you Billy Badass. Nigga, you scared.
Welcome back everybody to Boxing Bonanza. I'm joined by undefeated UFC superstar Jack Shaw. How are you, my man?
I'm good, back with broken hand, busted shoulder, but the spirit's alright.
How was it to be back in sunny Wales again?
No, it is nice. I'm an home. I like being home, I do. So out in Vegas, it's, you know, you're there like an all day anyway, like the 12 days you make for a job, so like you're cutting weight, you're training 2-3 times a day. Don't be wrong, it breaks up a bit. It's the sun, we're chilling by the pool, we went to the strip for a look. But I'm glad to be home. Like I do miss my missus and the dog, miss my family, miss the house. But it's a needs must. The only good thing with being out there is it isolates you a little bit. So I'm a little bit more focused out there because like the family's not around and stuff like that. But it's good to be back. Like
I was gonna say, it is more of a camp than a holiday. But how do you enjoy the whole experience of being in Vegas?
Yeah, it is. It's got a different feel to it, John, to be honest, compared to like a fight week in Wales or Abu Dhabi or Copenhagen. I've been to Belgium, stuff like that. So you can tell it's the fight. Like I say to people, when you land in Heathrow Airport and you may have like a UFC kit, or they'll ask you what have we been over for, so I fought in the UFC. They don't really know what you're talking about. You may have 1 or 2 people who know. Whereas you go to Vegas, they're like, what are you over here for? You said fighting in the UFC, and straight away they know. They're on it straight away.
Yeah.
So you can tell it's a lot different over there. It's a lot more mainstream. You get treated not as like a celebrity, but you get treated with a lot more respect. They appreciate what you're there for, what you do. And the UFC generally is everywhere in Vegas. You go up the strip, there's billboards everywhere, there's shops. Anyone like we went to the strip and my coach Carl had his UFC t-shirt on and people look in straight away and then they start asking questions. But it's a different feel. Everything's bigger in Vegas. Obviously you've got the PI, you train, your food, you've got your physio, everything there is just like it is truly the only UFC. It's made for fighters. Like, I can see why so many fighters uproot and just go and live in Vegas and train. You've got everything in like a 5-mile radius out there that everything you need. But you know, I can't bring myself to leave Wales. Like.
Did you manage to see your face on any of the billboards yet, or is that still to come?
No, not yet. That's still to come. In the PI and the Apex where we fought, there's all there's big murals on the wall like Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, all the big names, and that's a dream one day to go in to warm up and got my ugly mug up on the wall. Like that's what else people are getting ready to fight.
Yeah, man, it's coming. What about going to visit any popular destinations and stuff? Did you manage to go around Vegas after the fight, maybe?
We didn't go anywhere after the fight because of the COVID protocol. So if you want to leave the hotel after the fight, you can leave, but you can't come back into the hotel because technically it's a bubble. So,
right. Oh, is this sick out?
Yeah, so once you sign into the host hotel, you can't leave unless it's to go to the PI, and you can't. If you leave the hotel after the fight, then you can't come back into the bubble because it overlaps. You've got like the Contender Series on the Tuesday, so you've got boys in the bubble then by the Sunday. Who obviously COVID testing, isolating, so they don't want the risk of bringing anything in. But we had a little look the Sunday before the fight, before we checked into the hotel. We went and looked at the strip, we went in the MGM, stuff like that, went to see the T-Mobile. But you know, it's only so much you can enjoy when you only want chicken and rice and water. But we had a little look about this better than last time. Obviously last time we didn't leave the hotel, we couldn't go anyway. So we've seen a little bit more Vegas this time. But again, hopefully next time we'll have fans and we can go and enjoy it after the fight properly as well.
Yeah, 100%. So you're home now, getting yourself all rested up. You can see it all bandaged up, and you had your MRI, hoping for the scan results today. How was it holding up?
Yeah, it's alright. I mean, the thumb's not too bad. Like once I've never had a cast, but once you're in the cast, it's like you can't do nothing anyway. So you don't. It's not very painful. It's just, I mean, I suppose it's just healing up now. The shoulder is giving me a lot of grief. Like every morning it's sore. It gets a little bit looser as the day goes on, but then every morning it seems to be back to stage 1. So obviously hopeful now to get the results, and fingers crossed we don't need a lot. Hopefully it's just a bit of physio or cortisone, something like that. But we'll see. Not knowing my luck, it don't rain it pours. So at least it's on the same arm. You know what I mean? Like, it could be worse. I could be casted on this arm and slinged up on this arm, and I wouldn't be able to action. But at least it's on the same arm.
So you can still throw your right hand and your feet for now.
Yeah,
so.
for now that's the go-to, right hand and the legs. But fingers crossed that the left hand will be back in action now before Christmas anyway.
So I'd like to get into the injury a little bit, if that's right with you. It's your thumb and your shoulder and your bicep kind of where it's connected. Was it 2 weeks before the fight that happened?
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks. So he was wrestling on a Thursday night, and it was, you couldn't write it. It was literally the first round of the first. So basically 9-minute rounds.
Yeah.
It's loser stage. It was the very first round, and it was me and young Levi, and we had a bit of a scramble. I posted out. As I got back my feet, he sort of drove me for a takedown. Now what you'd usually do is sort of either, you wouldn't brace out with your hand because obviously you could hurt your elbow, but you'd sort of brace on your elbow, ready for the thing. Well, good technique for me. He caught my hand to trap me out to stop me posting out and defend the takedown. Well, we come down like an awkward angle, so I've landed on my shoulder. Obviously my weight has come down, he's come down on top of me. And straight away he was panicking. I thought, oh fuck, my shoulder.
You felt it straight away.
Yeah, straight away, foot had dislocated. Carl, the wrestling coach, luckily is like a qualified physio. Yeah. So he could see straight away it wasn't dislocated. So we went for an X-ray. Obviously nothing was broke. Seen a physio. He initially thought it was the rotator cuff, and he was like, do I pull? Don't I pull? Give it a couple of days rest. It eased a little bit, but like not majorly. But in the back of my mind, I knew if I could get out to Vegas, I could use the PI, and they got world-class physio there. They got like a cryo chamber. They got 5 or 6 different specialists. So I thought if I can get out there, they'll be able to maybe get me in a position where I can just use it for the 15 minutes. And in all fairness, they did help a lot. Like I couldn't even throw a punch when I was out there. Obviously, by the end of the 10 days, I couldn't rest, I couldn't grapple, but I could throw a jab. I could just about throw a left up. So it was a lot better than what I was. And then obviously, first like 2 minutes of the fight, I took him down, and it was as I was passing through his guard, I could feel it go straight away, and I thought, oh fuck, that ain't good. Got him in the head and arm choke, but just couldn't squeeze. If it fell on the other side, I think I would have finished him, but I just couldn't. I was squeezing, I could feel it go shooting up my neck and down into my bicep. So I just bailed on it, and I thought we were just going to have to box and kick for 3 rounds. And then obviously it came out of the octagon, and the adrenaline starts dropping, and it was agony then. But UFC are good as gold in fairness. They obviously paid for the MRI.
They've done all that, that's brilliant.
Obviously, if I went for a normal MRI, it could take months.
Yeah.
But they, I told them about the injury after the fight. They said, right, we'll put a plan into place. They got in contact with my father. I was like, do you know anybody that can do an MRI and we'll cover it? So they paid for the MRI, and obviously if I need an arm or anything now, they'll cover the treatment and stuff like that. So, to be honest, going out in a fight was probably the best thing I could have done, because initially, I think the fight made it a lot worse than what it was, but to get this sort of, if I pulled out of the fight to get repaired then, it probably would have cost me a lot of money, and I wouldn't have got paid for the fight either. Yeah. So, in hindsight, it wasn't maybe the smartest idea to go and fight, but I don't think, thankfully, it paid off anyway.
It is. It's quite fascinating to me that you went out there knowing that you had injury, you're still willing to fight. I find it quite mad, and I done a post on Facebook. Obviously, like I said, I'm not promoting that people should go into fights injured, but that mentality of I know I'm good enough to if it does come to it that I can still win. That's a champion mentality. You've
got to back yourself. Like if you don't back yourself, I wouldn't expect anyone else to back yourself.
Exactly.
I sort of think of myself as one of those. I'm not so much a specialist in any area. I just think I'm very good in all aspects.
Everything.
A little bit like, I'm not saying I'm like GSP by any means. That guy's.
Well, you was compared to him.
I was compared to him, but I know I've got a long way to go before he's the best to ever do it. But I like to think you know, I'm one of those guys like initially I was fighting a striker, so the plan was obviously close the distance, fight him on the inside and look for the takedown, and then they switched the opponent up, and then I'm fighting a grappler, so it's like, that did throw a span in the works. I thought I can't really wrestle, but I just knew if I could just defend the takedown, that I'd be able to just rely on my striking enough to get me through, and my boxing, like, and my Muay Thai, because not a lot of guys in MMA train specific arts anymore. I think they just more so, they're in an MMA gym, when they train in striking it's all MMA based, whereas I'm a bit more of a purist. It's like, I'll do my boxing on its own, I'll do my Muay Thai on its own, and then I'll incorporate my own little spin on things to make it, you know, relatable for a fight. Obviously there's certain things you can't do it, there's certain boxing and techniques you can't do in MMA, certain Muay Thai techniques you can't do in MMA because of the takedowns and the rules, but I like to just take it on it where I can and put my own little spin, and thankfully it probably in essence got me through the fight, because if I'd gone in there purely as an MMA fighter and looked to try and, like, because you see a lot of MMA boys, they just get on the inside and want to let the punches go. I couldn't throw a left up really, so it wouldn't have worked, and he was a full-time wrestling champion, so he wasn't going to be an easy guy to take down on my shoulder. So it paid off that I'm well versed in every area, if that makes sense.
Was there any point in the fight where you thought, oh fuck, I shouldn't have done this?
The only time, it wasn't like fuck, I should have done it, but like, the one time I knew that I couldn't wrestle, I think I took him down in the second round. It ended up being like a clean takedown, and I got my one up in, and if you don't understand grappling, it's hard to explain. The grapplers, and I tried to sheep belt them, which is when you're on someone's back, you take one arm over the top and one arm over the armpit, and you sort of lock your arms so your chest is on their back to control them. And I tried to lock my arm in, and I could feel it straight away. And if you watch the fight, I pretty much give up on it and just take him out. He stands up and I just separate. But again, it wasn't like it was a bit of a like, ah shit, I'm not going to be able to sort of, I'm not going to be able to grapple him here, but it was like, right, just fall back on the striking, don't pull him with his trap. Don't like, because the only panic I had was trying to wrestle him and going to summon half-assed, like I had one arm and then getting reversed and on my back, because those wrestlers, they get on top, they'll just grind you up for 5 minutes and then you're battling the clock, you're battling the scorecards, and I didn't want that to happen, so that was the only real time in the second round. But again, like I said, I just sort of thought, just suck it up, boy, get on with it and find a way to win.
In front of you.
Yeah, that's it. Sometimes you just gotta throw caution to the wind a little bit and think, right, I'm in here now, so it's either find a way to win or lose. And I thought there's no way I'm losing to a guy who I know is level below me. So I thought let's just.
I would have felt sorry for young Levi if he had lost.
his old man was on his case, and he's like, well done, he mentioned him.
So hopefully the MRI will come back with some good news. You won't need an op, and you know you could just heal it out like you said with some therapy.
Yeah, fingers crossed. In an ideal world, obviously they'll say, look, maybe 6-8 weeks, just no contact. They've got me some physio. You know, I'll probably take us to about Christmas then, and we can crack on in the new year. If it does need an off, you know, it is what it is. Obviously, the UFC are looking after us, so no doubt it's not going to be no rush job. It'll be what's needed and what's necessary. So. Fingers crossed, like it's not, even if it is an off, fingers crossed it's only somewhat small and it's like a small window of recovery. I don't want to be sidelined for 9 months, 12 months. I'd love to just, in an ideal world now, they'll say, look, recover till November, December, and then I can get back out here in March to go again.
Because on the plus side, even though you come out with injuries, you're now 15-0. That's a cracking record, especially for in the UFC. And have you heard off the UFC since you've been home about the next opponent or anything?
No, nothing yet. That was the 4th fight on my contract, so I had a 4-fight deal. That was my last fight on the contract, so I'm assuming they'll get the shoulder sorted out, and my manager Graham will go into discussions then to see what they're going to offer me on a new contract in terms of how long it is, money, stuff like that. I leave all that to him and my dad. But I mean, I'm hearing rumours that they're possibly going to come back to Europe in March, April time, so in an ideal world I could jump on that and take some fans over. But the UFC are the UFC, so they'll obviously have love for it to say, knowing my luck to be back out to Vegas again.
Yeah, you can't complain really.
No, it could be worse, couldn't it?
Yeah.
It's basically to have a fight in
could be end up in some hotel in Kazakhstan. Yeah, so I think you seem to have had more coverage. I don't know if you agree with that after this fight.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of coverage and attention on you as not only a fighter but as a person as well. Does it all feel a bit surreal to you?
Yeah, look, I'm used to a lot of the media and stuff like that now, but there's been a lot of bigger ones since the fight. Like I was on the Ariel Helwani show, which, if you're not an MMA fan, you all know who he is. But Ariel Helwani owns probably has got the biggest platform in MMA in terms of interviews and sort of getting your name out there. I mean, he's been doing it 15 plus years. Yeah. So I was on his show. I've had a lot of big like American journal companies. The Insider, I think, was one. Give me a ring. Yes, the UFC.com.
Over the phone interviews, is it?
Yeah, BT Sport. What else? I've had
BT Sport as well.
BT
Brilliant.
Sport, yeah, I've had. I was on what paper I was in? The Daily Star. I was on the back page of the Daily Star yesterday or the day before. The old Gwent Gazette gave me the back page spread as well. So it's been a lot of coverage, you know. Things like before the fight, you know, my old man put a little tweet out and it was like we'd heard nothing off BBC or the ITV and stuff like that, and they all want to know now. Obviously, after now they can get some clicks, but it's just like I'd rather give time to the ones that have sort of supported me on the way up. You know, there's plenty of journalists who've got big names that have given me a bit of spotlight since I was in Cage Warriors, and you know, I'm not quite loyal and quite sort of. I got sort of morals where I'm a bit of a stubborn fucker, so it's like if they don't wanna know before, they only want to get clicks. So I'd rather go to these American companies, to be honest, and they're the ones who's going to do more for my career. Obviously, most of my fights are going to be out there, so it's been mental. I was away down Tenby last week with the missus for a week, and I had like 3 or 4 people wanting to interview me down there. Obviously, the aerial show I had to do down there, and it's like. It's just never ending, the media before the fight, the media after the fight. But it's wild to get our name up there, so...
Yeah, exactly,
you got to do it. I see people moaning, and don't be wrong, I'm in a position now where I can be a little bit picky. Yeah. You know, if you've got 100 followers and you want me to go on your podcast, and my name's going to do more than theirs, then I may turn it down. But in terms like local guys doing it, and I try and help them out. Yeah. And try and just go to the ones that have been good to me. Do you know what I mean? But it's been mental.
It's kind of like the small town Welsh mentality, really, isn't it? We look after each other.
That's it. It's like there's plenty of Welsh companies that have stood by me for years. You know, like Lewis Smith is a local boy, works for Wales Online. He works for MMA companies like yourself. Peter Carroll's another guy. He's high up now. He's an Irish guy, but I remember him interviewing me at like 6. You know, in Cage Warriors, I was a nobody then. He had like 10,000 followers. So people like that, like you say, it's that Welsh mentality. They looked after me and they stood by me. I was good by me, so I'm happy to be good by them. You know, the BBC and people like that. They'll film you for fucking 2 days and then they'll put a 2-minute video on the day before the fight. So it's like those days are gone. Like. Yeah.
What about your dad, Richard? He's over there. Especially after this fight, knowing he was injured and stuff as well. How does he deal with it all?
He was he's always really nervous before my fights, and to be fair, in the last few, he's reeled it in. Because I know he's nervous and I can tell he's nervous, but he hasn't shown it before the fight because he knows. It doesn't stress me out, I'm not a nervous person, but it's like I don't like to see him panicking, do you know what I mean? It's like the old saying.
Well, that's your superhero, really.
It's like the old saying, right? If you're seeing turbulence on a plane, you look at the aerostess, and if she's panicking, you know it's time to fucking panic. If she's calm, it's like, right, we might be alright. It's the same with him. I don't like to look at him, but this fight, I could tell he was nervous. I think the fat on my shoulder was playing on him. Like we had 3 opponent changes, and I remember. And Carl Parker and Levi will vouch for this because they were hip with me. And so I'm warming up like this now, I'm moving around with Levi, and the guy comes into the room, like the UFC, the runner, and he's like, right, 1.5 minutes and we're walking. So yeah, no worries. I look over and my old man sat in the chair like this, got his medical gloves on.
His what?
His medical gloves on for the camera, and I'm looking at him right, and he's like this. And I can just hear him going, crying for fucking hell, how's he panicking this much? I put something in right there, and then we went to walk out, and I didn't notice because they stand you at the walkout place, so obviously my opponent's walking out, I'm just trying to stay loose. And Parker goes to me, he said, look at your old man, he's having a panic attack. He said, I had to sit to him, shake a drink of water, I said, he's like that, shake it. But look, it's hard for him at the best of times. Let alone when I'm going in there, and he knows that he's good, and he knows the pressure's high because of my shoulders and stuff. But this is what he signed up for. So
yeah,
it's like, I gotta have him there now. You know, he's my head coach. And, he's handling it better than what he was doing. Like, I remember being an amateur when I first started doing headshots, and like, I remember him being sick in the bin as I'm walking up to the cage.
Yeah.
And turning up and saying, "You need to chill out." So he definitely has it a lot better, but I think he was feeling the pressure in this one. But
it must be hard to separate being a dad and a coach.
Yeah, like we're pretty good in the gym. You know what I mean? And every day, like when we're in the gym, he's the boss, and then when we're out in the gym, like try not to, we try not to get into like fighting too much and speaking about it, because you do need to separate, keep that relationship separate, in my opinion. But it's obviously it's hard for him, innit? It's really hard for him. But in terms of like the relationship we have, is very good. But then obviously fight night, really like. Fight night, very good. Not only could you get knocked out or choked out, you're doing it in front of millions, you're doing it on the biggest stage. So I can imagine. It's one thing in watching me and taking a slap is another thing in front of an audience when the result counts, you know. So
is that something you ever think about?
Well,
obviously you think about it, but is there anything that plays on your mind a bit?
It doesn't play on my mind, but you've got to be a realist. Like with it's a little bit different to boxing and MMA in terms of like everyone seems to lose. You know, you don't have people going like 30, 40, before they pick up a loss in MMA. Like I say, you know, I'm not knocking a boxers. That's how the game works. You have 10 fights to build your record, whereas in MMA you may have one as a pro, and then it's like, right, you're 1-0, he's 1-0, you're gonna fight. And then like you're 2-0, he might be 3-1, you two are gonna fight. So you're straight to the deep end. You always got to mind every fight is like a 50-50 fight. Obviously there's fights where you think, look, I'm better than him skillfully, or look, he may cause me trouble here, but with 400 rounds on, you could be winning 40 minutes of a fight, and someone nails you in the 15th minute, or the 40 minutes, 30, they can put you to sleep. So, in terms of I just try not to think about it, it's the same with people after being undefeated, does it add pressure? And I'm like, look, it added a bit of pressure when I was 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, but now it doesn't even come into my head, because when you're fighting at the level I'm fighting at, you could very well pick up a loss. Don't get me wrong. In an ideal world, I'll beat the Joe Calzaghe of MMA and the Khabib and retire undefeated. That's what I like to think. But if you pick up a loss in MMA, look, all agree it's a loss. It happens. It's not the end of the world. But in my opinion, by being like realistic with it and knowing it's a possibility, it helps you stay focused more in the terms of, right, I'll make sure I'll do what I can do to try and avoid that. Because if you sort of, you've seen it all the time, you see guys get too big for their boots, too cocky, think they can't lose, that's when they end up picking a loss. So I don't ever want to be one of them guys. I want to be the guy who thinks, it could happen, but let's do what we can to avoid it happening.
There's so many ways to lose in MMA, it's not like, just one way like boxing. Like,
no, of course.
You saw all punches.
Like I said, and you see it in fights, like you see it, you think a guy's done, and then he'll come back and win, or, well, look at Nate Diaz's last fight. I know he lost, right? He lost the fight, but not only did he lose a fight, he lost probably 4 rounds and 4.5 minutes of the fight. And then that last 30 seconds, little gloves on, he very nearly beat him. You know?
Or nobody remember that.
Even his fight with McGregor, the first fight, it was like he got fucking destroyed for a round and a half, and then all of a sudden, them little gloves, he lands a punch, rocks him, and he comes on. It's like, that's why people in MMA, you see so many guys win fights they're not meant to win. Even on the local scene, you see like these undefeated amateurs, they come up against a guy who's got a bit of record and they end up picking up a loss. But there's so many ways. You can't physically prepare for every single situation that can happen. You more often than not in a fight, you'll end up being in a position where you think, I didn't think I'd end up in. So it's a lot different to boxing. Boxing's a little bit more different. In my opinion, I think the stand-up skill level of boxers is unbelievable because having sparred with them and stuff, it's like, imagine me doing imagine me just doing pure jiu-jitsu 5 nights a week, twice a day. Your level's gonna go through the roof. Same with the boxers, it's like, they haven't got to worry about grappling and wrestling and jiu-jitsu, so they're doing the same thing 5-6 days a week for fucking 15-20 years. And then you've got to put a bit of respect on their skill level, but in MMA, you've got to try and, balance yourself out. That's why you see all this now, like, this Jake Paul and all these boxers MMA fighters want to go into boxing, and I try and tell people, I'm like, you get fucking smashed. Like, it's like I've sparred with boxers, and Yeah, if a boxer comes to MMA, they get smashed. But it's like, it's like
two different sports.
The McGregor going to fight whoever. It's like he was never going to win. He was never ever going to win. And in my opinion, a good MMA fighter goes in against, or world champion MMA fighter goes in against a world champion boxer in a boxing match. They're never going to win. Just like a world champion boxer is never going to beat a UFC champion in an MMA fight. Yeah. So there's a distinct difference, and you've got to sort of. You've got to put a lot of respect, but like you said, in MMA, there's a lot more ways to lose. Hence, why maybe people think it's a little bit more exciting, or you see a lot. The UFC now is getting a lot more publicity because you've got like boxing fans who look at Teddy Atlas. Like Teddy Atlas has never trained MMA in his life, and now you see his podcast and his reviews. He's breaking down
he's often doing it.
Yeah, he's like a big. You can see he's genuinely intrigued by it, and I think it's good for MMA. Connection with boxing, so I think it's brought MMA along the last few years as well.
Yeah, the politics of boxing is
that's the other
starting
thing.
to go over
That's
into
the other
UFC
thing
now.
that stings boxing a little bit is the politics, like with the promoters and the managers and people not wanting to fight people. We do slate the UFC structure in terms of like they're the big winners, you can't really argue for more money and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's so exciting for the fans. The best are always fighting the best.
Yeah.
So that I think if boxing could take like Dana White's model and transfer it to boxing with his one world champion and his one organisation and the best have got to fight the best, and I think there'd be no more talk of boxing. Like you hear people saying, boxing's dying, it's a dying sport. It's not. It's just the politics sort of take away a lot of the good.
Take away the excitement of it, really.
If they could take that, it's like the Fury Joshua thing. Like I seen Fury's old man say something, and I thought it was bang on. It's like he's like, just leave the belts. Like you're the best in the world. Everyone knows you're the best in the world. You're not going to make any less money by not fighting for a belt. Just fuck the belts off and fight. And that's pretty much what the UFC is. It's just the champion will always fight the number one contender. And I think in terms of like not so much promoting, but in terms of matchmaking, boxing could take a lot from that model.
Yeah, because Dana White is not. You can't really be bribed or anything like that. He's straight to the point.
They've got you tied in every way, and it's like, and everyone knows if you want to be like the number one in the world, there are a couple of outliers like Bellator and ONE FC where these champions, you think he could be the UFC champion, but for the most part, if you want to be considered the best in the world, you've got to be the UFC champion, and when they've got that sort of that overhead, that's what people think. 90% of people are going to want to go there and be the champion to prove they're the best.
Yeah. So, back to you now, you're home, you're resting up, giving your body 5 minutes. How are you spending your days now? You know you got some break.
How am I spending my days? To be honest, Pat, a little bit of training in the morning, a little bit of training at night, and just playing fucking Warzone. Playing Warzone all day.
You make fun like that,
yeah,
no?
I make it work, don't worry. I can make it work.
One of you Warzone, one of you fit.
I was bad on it anyway, and now I'm trying to play on one hand, it's even worse. But now I'm on Twitch and all that, and I got a couple of, like, a lot of my followers on Instagram, and I got like 30 or 40,000 followers, and they see I'm on Warzone, and they're like, you just need to start a Twitch account, and so I started it, and it's been a good crack. So my missus is in work all day, it keeps me busy, like, I walk the dog, and I just keep it out on here, like, a lot of people probably don't expect it from like that, but I am, like, I can't help it, I'm addicted.
What is Twitch, like a streaming?
It's a streaming, basically, it's mad, essentially, they just tune in to watch me play a game, but obviously you can chat to your followers and now and here, and I'm ripping them, they're ripping me for being shit on here, and got a couple of boys on there, we have a chat with them, so it breaks the day up, and to be honest, in fight camp, it was good because you have to switch off on training for a little bit, you don't really think about the fight 24/7, so you switch on for your training in the morning and the night, and then the day, that's like a little escape from reality.
From reality, yeah, that's good, it's good. Do you phone your missus, work up, tell her to give her overtime?
I may have to work Friday. You don't mind, you know, love. You crack on. I'll find something to do.
Warzone. I got some fans' questions there now.
Yeah.
Zach Jones, what advice would you give youngsters looking to get into martial arts?
What advice I give them? The best advice to give them probably is find a good gym. Obviously, and I'm not saying you need to go to these super gyms, but just make sure the coach has got, you gym to yourself, they've got a good sort of got a good sort of track record in terms of they got boys who are competing regularly, you know, they got good level guys on the mat. It doesn't got to be a gym like this, it doesn't got to be an SPG gym like Conor McGregor's, but just make sure the coaches are good. And if they are, make sure you listen. You know, you don't think you know it all. There's been plenty of boys over the years, and even at times like where you think you know better than the coaches, and the reality is not. So put the faith in your coaches, knuckle down, and what I always say is just chase the dream. If your dream is to be world champion, just chase that dream, and you chase that dream, and the money and the popularity and the other bonuses will come with it. If you're chasing money, you're chasing fame, you're never going to get anywhere, in my opinion. You've got, like, even look at someone like McGregor, who's with billions, right?
Only.
His initial dream wasn't to be a billionaire, it was to win the UFC belt and then win another UFC belt. All the rest of that, fighting Mayweather and all that, that's just a side effect of him committing himself 100% to being the best in the world. So chase your dream, and the rest of the stuff will come as a bonus.
How old was you when you decided that you wanted to be a champion? Like,
obviously I've been training all my life. I think it probably hit home properly. What was I was about 14, 15. I started competing like in jiu-jitsu, and I was doing well, and then all of a sudden I was like 16 and my own mum was like, come on, you can do, we'll chuck you in with the men, Tom. I was like, oh no, I'm fucking 16. Like, nah, you'll be alright, you said we'll chuck you in with the men, and I started beating the men, started medaling, started getting gold medals. Then I was sparring in the gym, and like I was a little chubby 16-year-old kid, and I'm subbing men and outstriking men. And I was like, you know, I'm pretty decent at this. Like, so I signed up for a fight, and then within like 4 or 5 hours of the fights, then I was on the tear, and like, you know, all the boys like Marshman and Martin and Chris, they're all doing well. Probably there's no reason why I can't follow in their footsteps. And I think I ultimately knew that the UFC was going to be my goal in the end when I won the IMAF European Championship. I remember thinking this is 4 fights in 3 days, like, the best you got to offer, and I just thought, right, if I win this, there's no reason why I can't go all the way, and I did really well, and I obviously won it, and that's when I thought then, right, this 9 to 5 life, I don't think it's going to be I'm going to chase it for a couple of years, and obviously factory paid off.
what weight does you when you say he's a chubby kid? Everybody must have been taller than you and bigger than you.
So, like, obviously now I walk around with about like 72, 73 kilos back, and I was probably walking around a little bit heavier than that. So not much heavier, but like, say 75, 76. But obviously I was a little bit shorter, a little bit wider. So like, at 16, when you're 76, like if a 16-year-old who's 76k now at the world be, obviously strength-wise and athletic-wise, I'm going to be a lot stronger. I'm a man. It was the same for me then. Like I was a little fat kid, and I'm rolling with these men, big, strong, like specimens. Just luckily I had a good engine on me and I had good technique. I managed to pull it. I think, what was the heaviest ever fought in jiu-jitsu? I think it was 80k. Which was, my first MMA fight was a welterweight, 77 kilo, and I fight 61. So all the boys I know who grew up with, they've all gone up in weight, and I'm the only one that's coming down.
Was just a gog. Yeah, that's the name on his Instagram. I don't know what it is. Do you prefer when interviews or social media refer to you as a British fighter or doing it for Great Britain? I'm not sure what he means there. Maybe he means being called a British fighter or Welsh, maybe.
Yeah, look, I'm obviously anyone asks me, I don't ever say I'm British. I'm Welsh. I'm Welsh. I'm not from Britain, I'm from Wales. I consider myself Welsh. Like I'm proud of my town, proud to be where I'm from, proud to be from Wales, proud to be from Aberdeen. So if anyone ever asks me, it's Wales. But I'm not gonna I don't get it up, you know. When like obviously this card, the spin was it's a British card. There's 5 Brits on there. Yeah. So when they list me in with the Brits, I don't get offended by it. You know? Ultimately, the Americans see me as British. Yeah. But everyone knows.
English probably.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you tell them where you're from, say, oh, Wales. They're like, oh, Wales in England? Like, no, Wales in Wales. But look, I don't get up over it, but obviously if anyone asks me, everyone knows I'm Welsh, represent the flag, every fight, and represent the town, but it's not something I get offended British.
Paul Jones, who is the hardest puncher you've ever faced?
Let me think. Like, I haven't took many big punches. I've obviously took shots, but never been stung bad. I've also been stung in the gym, but never been stung bad in the cage. Scott Malone hit pretty hard for a small guy. cracked me 1 or 2, and I wasn't rocked as such, but you could feel power. Malone, probably Malone. Like I could feel he was a powerful guy. He had a couple of knockouts where he fought me, and he caught me 1 or 2, and it was just enough to think, right, I don't want to be in the pocket getting caught clean. Just having to live on him kicking me. I blocked it and it hit my fucking elbow into my rib, and I had to put a poker face on and run from it for a minute. But Scott Malone, and he's a good guy as well. Scott, he's doing well. He's back north. So, probably Malone.
Do you know when you're down Gary Lockett and you're sparring with the likes of Jay Harris, Chris Jenkins, I imagine sparring with them? Do you feel the difference in their power because more they stance? The stance is more, they trained for it for years.
Yeah, like fucking hell to me, they all like that, don't they? Like, that's how it feels. But then like you hear like Gary talking about certain people, and he's like, he's not that big a puncher. And I'm like, fucking hell, I don't know, he looks a big puncher, like. But I think it's the way they stand as well.
They stance,
everything, like in boxing, everything is packed and low. Obviously in MMA, it's a little bit more flighty. Like for example, I sparred with my Thai coach, and like if I sparred with him, he's so flighty and like he's punching him and he's not so hard. So you wouldn't think he's a big hitter, but then you hold the pads to him and he put like an elbow or kick or right down, and you think he can dig if he wants to dig. His style is a little bit more flighty with his boxers. Even if they're like a back foot fighter, they're still, like you said, down low compact, and they still punch hard.
So weight distribution really.
100%.
Like with MMA, you've got to distribute your weight all around your body.
Yeah, because obviously with a low boxing stand, you're just going to keep slamming your leg. So it's different. But the boxer, they all feel like they hit hard, to be honest. And I think again, it goes back to that. Just using their hands for 6 days a week for 15, 20 years. Whereas an MMA fight, you mix it between it. Obviously, people are born with natural power, aren't they? But the boxers, I don't know. Everyone I spar, I think
I got another one from Zach Jones. Your opinion on Peter Yan? And are you happy with the small steps you're making to further your career instead of being rushed like some prospects have been?
Yeah, Peter Yan, so hey McDonald, Peter Yan he was the UFC champion at my weight. He's not now, he lost the bout by DQ, so he's rematching the bout. But he's very good, really good boxer, Russian guy, so no doubt his wrestling and stuff like that is top notch as well. He's a good guy, really tough guy, at a high level as well, elite level. So he's going to win the bout, He's going to win the bout anyway. He just made a stupid mistake that got him DQ'd. But in terms of how I'm being progressed, I'm happy to be progressed the way I have. I think it put me in good stead. I proved to him now that I'm a level above the guys that are not ranked, and I think I've sort of proved that the only weapon we test now is to fight those top 15 guys. But I was also glad they didn't just chuck me straight into the top 15, because 2 years ago I probably wouldn't have been ready. Whereas now, in my own mind, I've been tried and tested, they progressed me along. I've fought strikers, grapplers, wrestlers, black belts, and now I just feel like I'm in a good spot. I've faced, not everything, but I've faced like every different style, elite practitioners in every area, to the point where I'm comfortable now going in with those top guys and learning the test.
I've ever felt a bit demotivated, maybe the word, because you know that you're a higher level, but you're still getting put in with these guys. So
no, because I always try and focus on the end goal. Like, for me, I take one fight at a time, but ultimately in the back of my head, if I win, I gotta win this fight to be where I want to be. If I lose this fight, then it's going to knock me back. So that keeps me motivated in the sense of like I know I'm a lot better than the last guy I fought, but he had that style where you let him get his game going, he can come and spoil a party. So if I went in against him demotivated, who's to say he want to chop me down and held me down for 2 or 3 rounds, and then it's like, right, lose that, I just as well go back to the back of the queue. So I stay motivated because it's like I know where I want to be and I know what I got to do to get there. And regardless of who I fight, I should fight next. If they put me into another unranked guy, it'll be the same. It won't be like, oh, why am I fighting a ranked guy? It's like, well, alright, I've got to beat him now to get my shot. So that's how I keep myself motivated. Just keep your mind on the end goal. Also, got to focus on the guy in front of you, but at the same time, keeping the back. And again, I keep going back to boxing, but it's the same with them. How many times do the boxers get with journeyman? I think, I could school this guy. But they know they've got to beat 10 of these to be in a shot to fight for a Welsh title or a British title, and then to fight for a world title, you know you've got to win. So you get guys down there, you know straight away they're world championship level. It's like if you don't win the British title, you're not going to go on to fight for the world title. So it's the same thing. It's like you've got in MMA, you don't get all the belts. It's the UFC title, and that's it. Winning the Cage Warriors title, that's what's going to put you into the UFC. So it's just focusing on the end goal and focusing on the fact that this is what I got to do to get where I want to be.
Yeah, wicked. So to finish off, do you got any sponsors you want to shout out, or anybody who helped you through camp and stuff?
Obviously my coaches, both down here, my old man, Cal, Gary, Greg, Keane, all my training partners, even Levi, who fucked my shoulder up before the fight. He made up for it, alright, I will say not that. He made up for it because he come up and phoned me, and he was literally my punching bag for 10 days, so he definitely made up for it. Also, all my sponsors, I got too many to list. Go on my social media, they're on there, because I'll forget someone and they'll get pissed off and I'll miss it. So, go on my social media, Jack's MMA, give them a follow and all that stuff. And my missus and my mum and my sister as well, front up my shit.
What about your dog? You forgot your dog this time.
He should be thanking me, but he got a life of a kid, let me tell him.
Wicked. So I'll finish up on that. Hopefully we get some good results tomorrow on the MRI scan. As you know, I think it's a credit to not only MMA but sport in general, and your family and the gym, everybody. You're the man. Thank you for joining me, Jack.
No problem.